Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys my For Hire Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for June 2018. Finally got around to giving you guys this deck profile. All the thanks goes out to my girlfriend Marissa, because she's the one who put the deck together. It's actually an interesting deck. I didn't know too much about it until, I was deciding to build the deck profile, but the whole basis of the deck is just to spam out your different For Hire monsters and basically benefit from all the different effects that they share. And they all have, the small level For Hires have abilities that let you special summon out other For Hire monsters. I mean, you can either link summon or just use their own abilities, and they really benefit from having a bunch of different ones on the field. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, I run 3 of the Beat Blazeman For Hire. This one, during your main phase, you can special summon 1 monster For Hire from your hand, except Beat Blazeman For Hire. If a monster For Hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can add 1 monster For Hire from your deck to your hand, except for Beat Blazeman For Hire. You can only use each effect of Beat Blazeman For Hire per turn. I really like to run 3 of this card, just for the fact that it has that easy spam, like all the other lower level For Hires do. And then the add the monster For Hire from your deck to your hand just helps to keep your consistency for ones you want to use later on with the other special effects. So best to run this card at 3. I also, for some of the bigger ones, I run 3 Raphael Champion For Hire. With this one, I run 3 as well. If this card is special summoned, you can excavate the top card of your deck equal to the number of monsters For Hire you control with different names, except for Raphael Champion For Hire. If you do add one of them from your deck to your hand, also shuffle the rest into your deck. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can discard 1 card For Hire, negate the activation, and you can only activate each effect of Raphael For Hire once per turn. So you have a means to stop monster effects with this card, and the excavate, the top card of your deck equal to the number of different ones, only benefits because you want to have a lot of different ones out on the field to get that excavation off. So it's search power and stops the monster effects, which is pretty crucial. Plus, he has a pretty big attack as well, but easy to get out with the other special summons from your For Hire monsters. So you can make full use of this guy as long as you have the other lower level ones to get him out to the field. I also run 3 Wiz Sage For Hire. I found that the big key to this deck is to have just a lot of For Hire monsters that can really work together, because if you open up a bunch of them but you have the big and the low level monsters in your hand, you can still benefit from getting them out based on their own effects. With Wiz, if this card is special summoned, you can pay 500 life points for each monster For Hire you control with a different name, except for Wiz Sage For Hire. When your opponent activates a spell, card, or a quick effect, you can basically a spell or trap card, you can discard 1 For Hire, negate the activation, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So it's basically the card that mimics Raphael with the spell and traps. One of the bigger monsters, more of a defensive one with its stats kind of being reversed from it as well. But the spell and trap negation along with Raphael really does mirror well for stopping all of your opponent's different cards. And I also run 3 Seal Strategist For Hire. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 monster For Hire from your hand, except for Seal Strategist For Hire. If a monster For Hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can target 1 monster For Hire in your graveyard, add to your hand. You can only use each effect of Seal Strategist For Hire once per turn. The special summon effect is what I was saying before, along with the Beat Blazeman For Hire. You have special summon options with these cards, plus good attack stats as well. But the recycle effect is something that benefits because you really go all in with your different plays with these cards. So if you mess up, you always want to have recycle options to, reuse next turn if the plan you're going for doesn't work out. And I also run 3 Helmsman For Hire. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 monster For Hire from your hand, except for Helmsman For Hire. If a monster For Hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can discard 1 card For Hire to draw 1 card. You can only use each effect of Helmer once per turn. It's more of a discard draw kind of thing. The only thing to remember with him, obviously, if you're going to go for the discard, make sure you have ways to protect him because of his 0 attack, 2000 defense, but also possible 1 to sit on for the defense kind of play style if you don't have anything else from your hand to special summon. And I also run 2 Donpa Marksman for hire. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 monster for hire from your hand, except for Donpa Marksman for hire. If monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can target 1 face-up card on the field, destroy it, and you can only use each effect of Marksman once per turn. But the pop effects with this one are good. I like the 3 ofs for the Raphael, mostly because it negates the effects, which easier ways to get around than just pop effects, which, you know, if depending on what you pop, your opponent could possibly benefit from them. And you have better, stats, obviously, with Raphael as well. But pop options do come in handy as well. That's why I also run 2 of the Recon Scout for hire. It has the same special summon 1 for fire during your main phase. And while you control this monster, except in a damage set, you can target 1 set card on the field, destroy it, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So it can take care of some of the set cards as well. Just like Donpa could take care of the face-up cards on the field, you have the set card options basically handled with the Recon for hire. Just be careful because Waking the Dragons is a thing now, so if you accidentally pop that, it's a major regret. I've done it before. Doesn't feel too good at all. And then the last for the fur hires, definitely a lot of them, but like I said, they work very well together. 2 Bravo Fighter for hire. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 for hire from your hand, except for this card. If a monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can have all monster for hires currently on the field gain 500 attack and defense until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect once per turn. Just 2 of him, though. I might even consider bumping my numbers around, but I'm actually pretty comfortable with how they all are at the moment. He's just attack boost, which does come in handy, especially with a lot of the cards we face out there. Raphael's just sort of hitting, a couple of those big monsters. I was going to say Masterpiece, obviously, but he's not that big of a problem anymore. But when you're at that 3,300 attack, you can basically hit over anything, and this boost definitely does help your other for hires for sure. And lastly, for the monsters, I have 3 Ghost Ogre in the deck, but this can honestly be swapped out for any preferable hand trap that you want. If you have Ash Blossom and you want that instead, you can swap them out. You can mix around the numbers. This is completely player preference right here, depending on what you want to run, depending on what you're facing against. Like I said, the hand trap option at this point can be what the user wants for sure. And that's it for the monster count. As I said before, I always like to go for the purest of the monster builds with all of my decks. And these cards all just work very, very well together, so you can't go wrong with the high number count for the for hires. But moving on to the spells, I run 3 Mayhem for hire. A very, very good card. It's a quick play. You target 1 monster for hire in your graveyard, special summon it in defense. You can only activate 1 Mayhem per hire per turn, but no repercussions with this card. You just special summon in defense, then you can basically use its abilities next turn if it lives through, or it can even be on your turn, depending on what you want. Great field swarm with this card for sure. And I also run 2 of the field spell, Fandora the Flying Fortress. During your draw phase, before you draw, you can give up your normal draw this turn. If you do, add 1 monster for hire from your deck to your hand. If you control 5 or more monster for hires with different names, you can send this card from the field zone to the graveyard, destroy all cards your opponent controls, and for the rest of the turn, your opponent takes no damage. Now, with this, you have, draw options or just search options, depending on if you need a specific for hire or not. The destruction effect is good if you do get it off, but most of the time, I just like to use this card for the benefit of obviously searching out needed for hire monster. And then also just the 1 terraforming. I don't run 3 of this because you don't really need 3. It's not as big of a search card. You don't benefit from having multiple copies. You just want to make sure you get to it fast enough. So that's why I run those numbers. And I also run 1 Reinforcements of the Army. It searches out Beat Bladesman for hire. So quick search for that one. And also Monster Reborn along with the other Mayhem for hire. Just easy special summoning. And then also 2 Twin Twisters. Biggest threat is cards that could just mess up your special summoning plays and, filling out. So take care of that pesky back row. And same for the monsters with Regeki. If you get enough of the fur hires out, you can just go for the kill with the ones you control. And then last for the spells, just 1 upstart. Like I said, milling through the deck pretty quickly, just grabbing what you need with this card. And then moving on to the traps, I run 2. This name is going to kill me. Training for Hire for all your training needs. It's a continuous trap card. If a face-up monster for hire you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you could target one of those monsters. Special summon one monster for hire from your deck whose level is lower than the target's original level. You can only use this effect of Training for Hire for all your training needs once per turn. Good search out options with the lower levels. Grab what you need and then just, benefit off the special summons of the lower ones to get into your bigger ones that you possibly have in your hand. So just the 2 of, though, it does help when you come into it, but other than that, you can rely on your other, for hire monster effects until you get to it. And then, lastly, 2 Solemn Strike. You can also put in Solemn Warning and Bottomless, or mix in Torrentials for the last 2 trap options here. That's completely up to the player and what they have with the final spots to fill. But that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra. Try to run a full link-based deck because not too many exceeds that benefit. These link-on monsters are just here for good options if you ever need them. Mrs. Radiant, Miss Starboy, and Great Fly, because you run all the fur hires are different attributes, so you can fully make use of all these. If you want the fire one or the light and dark ones when they come in, they can fully be mixed as well. For the bigger ones, 1 Borreload and 1 Topologic Bomber Dragon as well. Also, 1 Zephyr Mettleton to make use of with your other extra deck monsters. 1 Decode Talker, 1 Trisbana, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Ningirsu, 1 Proxy Dragon. This could also be an Ib of World Chalice if you have that as well. 1 Akashic Magician, and then for the Nightmare monsters, 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, and 1 Cerberus, just so you have those extra options as well available to you. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.